a sound that defined a generation, has fallen silent. Kavinsky wasn't just a French electronic musician, he was the architect of a sonic universe, a storyteller who created a world of retro-futuristic synthwave that captivated millions around the globe. His unmistakable sound, iconic style, and groundbreaking music helped define the synthwave genre and inspired countless artists across generations. But behind the sunglasses, behind the neon-drenched aesthetic, there was a story that few people knew. A story of a young man from Paris who turned his obsession with 1980s cinema into one of the most iconic sounds of the 21st century. Now, as the world mourns, we're left with questions. What really happened to Kavinsky? Who was the man behind the music? And what legacy does he leave behind? This isn't just a news story. This is a personal journey. This is the life, the struggles, the triumphs, and the final chapter of Kavinsky. Stay with us as we uncover the full story from his humble beginnings to his rise to fame, his personal struggles, and the legacy he leaves behind. Who was Kavinsky? Kavinsky was born Vincent Pierre Claude Belorgey on the 31st of December 1974 in Paris, France. He grew up in a creative environment that nurtured his love for music and film. As a teenager, he was fascinated by electronic music, cinema, and the aesthetic of the 1980s. He was particularly drawn to the music of artists like Jean-Michel Jarre, Kraftwerk, and the soundtracks of films like Drive and Miami Vice. He developed a unique musical style that blended retro synth sounds with modern electronic production. His music was cinematic, atmospheric, and deeply emotional. He adopted the stage name Kavinsky, inspired by the character in the film Drive. He also created a persona, a mysterious, stylish figure who embodied the cool of the 1980s. His big break came in 2007 when he released his debut EP, Teddy Boy. The EP introduced his signature sound to the world and caught the attention of the electronic music community. But his biggest moment was still ahead, the Nightcall phenomenon. In 2010, Kavinsky released a single that would change his life forever. Nightcall was a dark, hypnotic track featuring the vocals of Love Fox, the lead singer of the Brazilian band CSS. The song was an instant sensation. It reached number 16 on the French singles chart and became a global hit. But it was the song's inclusion in the 2011 film Drive that made it iconic. The film, starring Ryan Gosling, used Nightcall during its opening scene, and the song became inseparable from the movie's visual aesthetic. The track has since amassed over 700 million streams on Spotify. Kavinsky said, "When I heard my music in Drive, I knew it was a moment I would never forget. The film and the song were meant for each other." Nightcall earned him international recognition and established him as a pioneer of the synthwave genre, a groundbreaking career. Following the success of Nightcall, Kavinsky released his debut album, Outrun, in 2013. The album was a masterpiece of synthwave music. It featured collaborations with artists like The Weeknd, Tyler, The Creator, and Sebastian. The album was a critical and commercial success, reaching number 2 on the French albums chart. It was also nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Dance Electronic Album. Tracks like Protovision and Odd Look, featuring The Weeknd, became fan favorites. In 2022, he returned with his second album, Reborn. The album marked a new chapter in his career and was praised for its evolution and depth. His music has been featured in numerous films, television shows, and video games, including the video game Drive Club. He was a pioneer of the synthwave genre, and his influence can be heard in countless artists who followed. The struggles behind the spotlight. Behind the success and the iconic image, Kavinsky faced his own personal battles. He was a private person who struggled with the pressures of fame and the demands of the music industry. In interviews, he spoke about the difficulty of following up on the success of Nightcall. He said, "It was hard to live up to the expectations. I felt like I had to create something perfect, and that pressure was overwhelming." He also struggled with anxiety and the toll that touring and recording took on his mental health. Despite these challenges, he remained dedicated to his craft and continued to create music that resonated with fans around the world. His struggles remind us that even the most successful artists face their own battles behind the scenes. Family, the people behind the star. Kavinsky was a private person who kept much of his personal life out of the spotlight. He was born Vincent Pierre Claude Belorgey. He was a devoted son, brother, and friend. He had a family who loved and supported him, but details about his personal life were not widely shared. He had a family who loved and supported him, but details about his personal life were not widely shared. His family has been devastated by his sudden passing and has asked for privacy. They have requested that the public respect their grief and allow them to mourn in peace. His family's love and support were a constant source of strength throughout his career, wife and personal life, who he was off camera. Kavinsky was married to Laura Belorgey. Together, they built a life based on love, creativity, and mutual respect. She was his partner and confidant, supporting him through his career and personal struggles. They shared a deep connection, and her presence was a source of strength for him. Beyond music, Kavinsky was passionate about cinema, cars, and the 1980s aesthetic that defined his work. He was a collector of vintage cars, and often incorporated his love for automobiles into his music and image. His wife and family have requested privacy as they mourn his passing. Net worth, the financial reality. So how much was Kavinsky worth? Kavinsky's estimated net worth at the time of his death was approximately $5 million. His wealth came from his music career, album sales, streaming, royalties, live performances and tours, licensing deals for films, television, and video games, brand partnerships and endorsements. He sold millions of records and amassed billions of streams across platforms. He lived a comfortable life, dedicated to his craft and his family. His true wealth is not in his bank account, but in the legacy of music he has created. His legacy, what he left behind. Kavinsky's legacy is one of innovation, creativity, and authenticity. He was a pioneer of the synthwave genre, creating a sound that was both nostalgic and futuristic. He inspired countless artists and musicians to explore the intersection of retro and modern sounds. He once said, "I wanted to create music that felt like a movie, music that you could see." And he did exactly that. His music will continue to inspire generations of musicians and fans alike. His influence on modern music is undeniable, and his sound will live on forever. Tributes. The world reacts. When news of Kavinsky's death broke, tributes poured in from across the music world. The Weeknd, who collaborated with Kavinsky on Odd Look, wrote, "Kavinsky was a genius. His music was ahead of its time. Rest in peace, brother." Tyler, the creator, wrote, "He was a true original. His sound was unlike anything else. I'm grateful I got to work with him." Justice wrote, "Kavinsky was a pioneer. His music will live on forever." Fans also paid tribute. One wrote, "His music was the soundtrack to so many moments. He will be missed." Another said, "Rest in peace, Kavinsky. Your music will never be forgotten." His final years, a quiet goodbye. In his final years, Kavinsky continued to create and perform. He remained active in the music community, collaborating with other artists and performing at festivals around the world. He also spent time with his family, who were his greatest joy. His final years were filled with music, creativity, and the love of his fans. He passed away on the 28th of July 2026, leaving behind a legacy that will never be forgotten. He died peacefully, surrounded by his loved ones. Lessons from his life. Kavinsky's life offers several important lessons. First, he taught us the importance of authenticity. He stayed true to his vision and his sound, never compromising his artistic integrity. Second, he taught us the value of creativity. He pushed boundaries and created something unique that resonated with millions. Third, he taught us that music matters. He believed that music could transport people to another world, and he proved it. His life was a testament to the power of passion and perseverance. What the news didn't tell you. Here's what the news didn't tell you about Kavinsky. He was a perfectionist who spent countless hours in the studio, obsessing over every sound and detail. He once said that he spent 6 months just perfecting the intro to Nightcall. He was also a huge film buff. He drew inspiration from directors like Nicholas Winding Refn, Michael Mann, and David Lynch. His music was always intended to be cinematic. He was known for his humility and kindness. Despite his success, he remained approachable and generous with his time. He was also a mentor to younger artists, always willing to share his knowledge and experience. These are the stories that don't make the headlines but define who he truly was. Final tribute. Kavinsky passed away on the 28th of July 2026 at the age of 51. Though the cause of death is undisclosed, his impact on music as a synthwave pioneer is undeniable. His cinematic sound will live on in the hearts of his family, fans, and the electronic music community. Rest in peace, Kavinsky. If this tribute resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your favorite Kavinsky song in the comments.